They won the toss, and the Chargers have elected to defer. It is a breezy day here, Tony, and we've seen it already switch directions, but it's gusting at times up to 20 to 30.
It's going to play a role, especially in the kicking game. The Ravens have the best kicker on planet Earth. That's definitely an advantage today. He was kicking close to 70 yards going in one direction.
This kick is into the wind, and Badgley delivers it down to about the 5 to Montgomery. And Ty Montgomery is met in the middle of the field just across the 20 by Desmond King. So a 16-yard run back, and let's bring out Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense that has completely turned fortunes for this team that was struggling in the month of November. They make the change after Flacco goes out with a hip injury. All he's done is go 6-1 as a starter. The only loss was an overtime loss at Arrowhead against Kansas City, including a win as well out against Los Angeles 15 days ago, beating the Chargers 22 to 10. Now, this defense coming out with 6 DBs to open things up, and Jackson still has it, and getting tackled for about a 1-yard loss. It could have been 4 or 5, but Jackson able to get some of it back. James meets him at the 20, a loss of 1.
Well, you don't normally think to stop the run, a team who's rushing like this, and the way that Baltimore does it on almost a historic level in the modern era, that you're going to come out in 6 or 7 defensive backs to stop it. But it's going to be fascinating to see the game plan that Gus Bradley and Coach Lynn came up with, because they're going to play a lot of DBs in this game and try and slow the run down.
Here's a 2nd and 11. And again, the play action, and this time throw it, with Brown making the catch on the sideline. It's interesting seeing the Charger defense had Derwin James lining up just off the defensive line on a wing. As you see, this defense led by Bosa and Ingram. Those are 2 guys that maybe in this game, this is not the kind of style of offense they go against that factors them in as much as usual.
Exactly right. You want a passing team so they can get after the quarterback. You're going to see Bosa. Normally he's really wide, but look at how tight he is. He doesn't normally play that tight to the line of scrimmage. He wants to get wide, and this is a passing down.
It's a 3rd and 6. In the pocket, he completes it for the first down to the 37 as Willie Snead makes the catch.
It's a great job by Willie Snead on a slant route, and watch how he softens in the hole. It's zone. Just stay soft, and then Jackson delivers the ball right to him on a perfect throw. But Snead finding that soft spot in the zone was the key there.
So able to pick up a first down to their top receiver on the season, Snead. And again, they play action fake into the line. Jackson just throws it away with James draped all over him. Incomplete.
Boy, this is a great job getting pressure, because Crabtree was open for a touchdown. Look at the bottom of your screen. They're going to run a play fake, and the free safety in the middle has to play the quarterback sometimes, and you see Crabtree 5-10 yards behind the defense, but not enough time for Jackson to find him.
Jackson threw for 204 yards against the Chargers. That's the most he had in the 7 starts. The bulk of it, though, a good part of it, I should say, 68 yards coming on a touchdown throw to the tight end, Mark Andrews. Here's a 2nd and 10 run up the middle, and that is Gus Edwards. The undrafted rookie gets a pickup of about 5 and stopped by Damian Square. So the Ravens will face another 3rd down. And with Jackson as the starter, they have been able to take it down the field and put up points 5 of the 7 starts.
Well, they're very good because they come out with new wrinkles in the run game. You get prepared for certain things, then all of a sudden they get you. The big play is that one you just saw, the halfback dive right at you in that A-gap. Every week we say, if you don't stop that play, everything's over.
Here is 3rd and 5. Jackson in trouble. The ball's on the ground. He's able to scoop it up. Look at this play. Now gets the pass away, incomplete at the feet of Willie Snead. But holding on to the football has been an issue. Somehow it lands back in his arms and he gets an incompletion out of it.
Well, this has been a serious issue, and this has happened multiple times where he almost doesn't even get hit and it comes out of his hand. Does a great job picking it up, but it's really just him losing the ball. And the Chargers know this, and really fortunate by Baltimore to get that ball back.
It was Rochelle who was putting on the pressure that led to Jackson losing the football for a moment. Cook punts, caught at the 15 by King. Dangerous returner, swarmed under at the 23. So one first down picked up by Baltimore, then a punt, and now we'll see Rivers and company going against that tough Ravens defense when we come back. Philip Rivers making his 218th consecutive start for the Chargers. That's regular and post. Taking over at the 22 after a 44-yard punt by Cook. Rolling out, lofting it out of bounds. Nothing developed. Had Keenan Allen out in front of him, and wasn't exactly what he was hoping would happen with the route. But Rivers had another big season. At the age of 37, this team has played great football on the road. They went 7-1 on the road. The only road loss was against the Rams. So when they got on a plane, including a game at London, which counted as a home game, they were 8-0 outside of Los Angeles. Here's a 2nd and 10. And the jet sweep goes to Benjamin, and he's walloped by Tony Jefferson about 1.5 yards short of the first.
This is how I want to see you run the ball if you're going to run against Baltimore. You run horizontally. Watch the end. It just allows Baltimore, who loves to get a lot of people up into the line of scrimmage and really make you feel suffocated as an offense. And they got those big guys inside, Williams and Pierce, who are difficult to run against. You run it wide and you throw it quick if you're going to beat Baltimore. They did not do that well enough last game 2 weeks ago.
Here's the 3rd and 2, we'll call it. Back over to Benjamin. Got to beat the defender. Another one comes over, and they knock him out, including Eric Weddle in on the play for a loss of 1. Matthew Judon also able to take the Chargers off the field, 3 and out.
Rivers tries to keep his eyes downfield, and Weddle told us his first read, he likes to go to the flat and throw a quick route to the running back to the flat. Eric Weddle used to play with Philip Rivers all those years, and he knows him cold. He took off from his responsibility fast. Great play by Judon.
He recognized that. 9 years with the Chargers, now in his 3rd year in Baltimore. And the punt into the wind gets a favorable Charger bounce out of bounds at the 28. Donnie Jones with the boot of 45 yards. 2nd possession coming up for Jackson. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Subway now delivering to your front door. And by Honda. All right, we've seen 9 total plays so far. 5 of them have gone for no gain or negative yardage. Dixon comes in to the backfield, lined up behind Jackson. Kenny Dixon had a career-high 117 yards last Sunday against Cleveland. Oh, and a mishandle on the snap. Ingram was there for a moment. And has the Baltimore defense recovered again? They have. That's twice now that Baltimore has been able to escape a ball on the ground.
It's right in his hands. It's a fine snap. And sometimes those snaps come back a little bit faster than you're used to because the center's got to go block someone quickly, and it got up on him quick. But you still have to handle that as a quarterback. This is a real issue now if you've watched all their games and how Jackson's handled the football.
Ronnie Stanley with the recovery, but a loss of 15. 2nd and 25. Another fumble, and this one is recovered by the Chargers. It's Adrian Phillips with the football.
I think Ingram pokes this ball out.
He did.
He's going to come from your right side of your screen and get his hand right there. And a monster play early in the game. Dixon, the number one thing you got to do is secure that ball. But that is part of option football. You don't know for sure if the quarterback's going to take it or you're going to hold it, so you kind of have to give a little room before you completely wrap it up.
What an incredibly sloppy start for the Ravens. 3 fumbles. This one turned over. They recover the first 2, but not this one. And the Chargers are set up now at the 15.
The Chargers wanted to play with the lead, Jim. They kept talking about that. Baltimore has not played from behind very much this year.
And they got their chance to make that happen as Gordon gets the handle. And in heavy traffic, he's got a gain of about 3, maybe 4. And our first flag comes out. Clete Blakeman is the referee. He actually worked that game 2 weeks ago between these two teams out in Los Angeles.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 48. Now he's half the distance to the goal line. First down, Los Angeles.
Patrick Owasso, who had such a huge game in Los Angeles. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week after his performance against the Chargers. He's flagged for that one.
Well, this is not what you expected out of the Ravens coming into this game today. Almost feeling like they're letting the emotions of the game get to them a little bit. And the Chargers right now know they have a great opportunity. To go up 7-0 is a monster difference on the road. In an environment like this, against a pressured defense like this, it allows you to stay running the ball throughout the game.
First and goal at the 6. Gordon tiptoes past a couple of Ravens, give him a couple. Down to about the 4. Gordon, who marked his return in the first game against the Ravens after missing some time with a knee injury, and missed the 3 previous games leading up to Baltimore. They feel he's a lot stronger and better condition now than he was 2 weeks ago when he played Baltimore.
Yeah, he didn't look, you know, he had a brace on, he was taped up everywhere. They're expecting him to come in and be much better.
Antonio Gates comes into the lineup.
Top of your screen.
Second and goal.
Rivers changing the play, sees the defense. Let's see what he gets to.
It's back to Gordon. And he squirms for about 2. Third and goal coming up from the 1.
Rivers brings Gates down. You saw him bring him in to block. He runs the football right at him.
Now what will they do? Gordon is shaken up. My goodness, on just his 3rd carry. And that knee we just talked about before the snap that he was returning from into the game against the Ravens on December 22nd.
Let's see if his knee, ooh, a little right there, you can see.
He ran in the back of Schofield, his teammate, his right guard. Then he also got hit by Mosley.
He's a key player. This is not what the Chargers wanted at the running back position.
Injury timeout. Melvin Gordon is walking to the Chargers locker room. It's the other knee from the one that was injured this season with a sprained MCL on the right knee. Watch the contact from Mosley on the left knee. As now we'll bring it back to 3rd and goal. Los Angeles at the 1. Eckler comes into the backfield. They give it to Eckler. Quick contact on him. Oh, the Ravens come crashing across, including Brent Urban, and knock him back a yard.
Well, you see the motion. Green's going to be the one who has to make this block. And he doesn't quite get to well, but really Urban makes the play inside. Oh, that's a fantastic play by Urban.
So you said what a difference a touchdown would be for them to get this game started. But they're going to have to settle for field goal. Michael Badgley, who's been quite a find since midseason. 15 out of 16, and this from only 21. And he drives it right into the net, dead center. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens need to settle down. Their defense has just done a good job of shutting down the Chargers inside the 10. Los Angeles had first and goal at the 6, Tony. Never went to the air.
Yeah, I don't love that. I mean, you have plenty of talent. I mean, you got Williams, who's a touchdown machine, big guy in the red zone. You also have Keenan Allen. I mean, you got plenty of weapons. They ran. And to me, you're going against some really stout people inside for this Baltimore team. And, you know, the Chargers aren't huge up front in the middle. I would have liked to have either ran it wide with a toss or throw that football at some point.
Here's Badgley's kick. This one goes to about the 3 to Montgomery. And Montgomery just shy of the 20. Kyle Wilson on the tackle. The Ravens have fumbled the football 3 of 8 snaps.
Well, this was the one area coming into the game that, as Baltimore, they're concerned. They know this. If they win the turnover battle, they believe that they can win and win every game they play in. They have the best defense. They have an offense who's controlling time of possession. But if you give teams the ball, it stays very difficult. It makes it difficult to continue to run that ball over and over again when you're trailing in football games.
Of course, that last one was on Dixon. And they go back to Edwards, plowing ahead for 4. But the issue that you mentioned to us a few times, Lamar Jackson fumbled 12 times in the regular season, including 10 times in the 7 games that he started. Already twice today. Now, much has been made of the fact he's the youngest quarterback to ever start in the NFL postseason, 21. Now, albeit he's a few hours away from 22. That's tomorrow. But do you see jitters? What do you see here?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's done it, though, each game. So I wish we could say that, but really it's really not that. And by the way, Melvin Ingram has started off dominating this football game on the line of scrimmage.
That was Edwards for 1.
He's 3 or 4 times now. He is winning at the point of attack and splitting that right there.
Went right around the rookie, Orlando Brown, to make that tackle. So now 3rd and 5 for Baltimore.
You can't come into this game and say, everyone just do your job. Someone's going to have to make plays like that and get out of their gap sometime, because Baltimore has numbers in the run game.
Jackson from the pocket. Option isn't there. Fakes the pass, going to run for it. Going to pick up the first with plenty to spare. The dive finally ends it, but Jackson able to keep him on the field with a nice scramble run for 15.
Well, everything's covered, and Jackson goes through it. But this is where, you know, when you run, and then pass, all of a sudden, it's just not quite the same. The pocket doesn't collapse the same because there's certain guys in the D-line who still are protecting against the run. And Jackson does a great job getting out of the pocket and getting a first down, extending the drive.
From the 39. Pass incomplete, intended for Snead. And that looked like some confusion right away on the play action too. Sometimes the past has a way of moving in with you. Don't miss the new comedy Fam. Series premiere is Thursday at 9:30, 8:30 Central only, CBS. This bumpy start by Baltimore has taken what we saw last week as a raucous crowd here at the Ravens Stadium out of it early. And that's a fine play behind the line of scrimmage. Philon is there to make the first hit on Edwards and a loss of 1.
Well, Philon just beats the center right here. You'll see him go right across his face and split the double team. And this is right now what's giving Baltimore trouble, is that they're expecting them, defensive linemen ride with you when you go left or right. These guys are shooting the gap, and they're taking off right now into the backfield and disrupting the plays before they get started.
7 defensive backs come onto the field for the Chargers on 3rd and 11. Bosa coming after him, and Bosa gets to him. He was down, whistles. Joey Bosa, who played only 7 games after being injured at the start of the year, out with a foot injury the first 9.
Well, they move him inside, and he goes and plays D tackle, and he goes over Hurst and just takes advantage. It's hard to double team him when they're moving him around. Give credit to the staff here for the Chargers, putting Bosa inside creating a one-on-one matchup. If you can get Baltimore in 3rd and 10 or 11, the Chargers can be very disruptive, obviously, with these pass rushers.
So Cook to punt for the second time. Ravens with 3 possessions have failed to reach even their own 45 thus far. King weaving, getting past some Ravens. He broke one at Pittsburgh. And that's a big return for the Chargers. That gives them a short field to work with. That was a 33-yard run back.
It's exactly what you wanted to start the game if you're a Charger fan.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chevy, more reliable than 25 other automotive brands. And by Verizon, chosen by experts, chosen by you. You're seeing all these magnificent renderings of the LA Stadium at Hollywood Park that's being constructed in Inglewood. It'll be home to the Rams and the Chargers starting in 2020. What a beautiful facility this is going to be.
They're going to love their football when you get to go to a stadium like that in LA. It's going to be fantastic.
What a scene that's going to be every Sunday between those two franchises. The NFL with big commitments down the road to that stadium, including a Super Bowl. Here's a 1st and 10, toss out of the backfield. Eckler able to escape what could have been a loss. He picks up a yard.
There's going to be a big cat and mouse game going on between these two teams. You saw the pressure there by the Ravens and the blitz, and we're going to get into it a little bit here as the game moves on. But that was a big issue last game, was how the Chargers handled it. They have a plan. You saw a little bit of it there. Baltimore's testing them out right now to see what they're doing by sending little blitzes.
Here's a 2nd and 8. Benjamin in motion. Running up the middle. Get it down to about the 38. The Spanos family buying the franchise back in 1984. It's been such a difficult year for the family. With there you see Dean Spanos. His mother Faye passed away in August. His father Alex, the patriarch of the family, died in October at the age of 95. Here's a 3rd and 6. Now remember, they're going into the wind, so field goal considerations. You're going to need to pick up some yardage.
The key is to watch the back. They pressured the back right here. He pressured the running back. Let's see what the answer is for the Chargers.
Coming after him, including Levine. It's caught. It's caught by Tyrell Williams. But that little gain might be enough now to give Badgley a chance at a field goal in the 50 range.
So what they did last game is they put those two on those two, the running back and the tackle. They blitzed the corner, and Rivers does a great job. Wow. What a wonderful job by Martindale and Harbaugh coming up with a blitz off the corner they did not show on tape off of a cut split by a receiver.
It's going to be 53 yards in the swirling winds. Let's see what the rookie can do. He made a 59-yarder, a team record already in half a season of action. Here's Badgley with the boot. It's a beauty. And he knocks it through. His 2nd kick of the quarter. And the Chargers are up 6-0 on the Ravens. So the Chargers have started 2 drives in Ravens territory and produced 2 field goals. Aerial coverage of this game provided by State Farm. You know, top you see the flags, and they're going from left to right, but down on the field, Jay Feely reporting that that was a downwind kick. The swirling winds, wind at his back. Badgley from 53, 2nd longest postseason field goal ever made in Charger history. John Carney still has the record. And that's a run back by Montgomery to about the 26. And Jay, let's get more on what Badgley's doing in the wins here.
Well, Jim, coming into the game, Baltimore, everyone figured had a decided advantage. Justin Tucker, 3rd year in a row, he was all-pro, an excellent special teams unit all across the board. And you know the history of the Chargers in the playoffs, missing field goals. They've had 6 kickers in the last 2 years. Badgley's come in and done a phenomenal job. He is a rookie. He hits a high ball, and when you go into the wind like next quarter, we'll see how it has an impact, because in warm-ups, it had a big impact on Badgley and his kicks. Tucker and the way he hits the ball, how smooth it is, not much of an impact. You saw all the punters trying to use end-over-end punts. It's much easier in the wind to do that.
All right, Jay, so Badgley, though, he's getting it done. 17 of 18 now in the year, regular in post. Running play with Edwards picks up about 5.
You know, in these playoff games, sometimes they do just come down. Everyone remembers a missed kick at the end. You know, the one to win the game kind of things. But you missed 1, 2. Rivers just had a playoff game. He's lost by 3 points. His kickers missed, 3 field goals in a game. They had another one that was a game winner in a playoff game. Kicker missed. That's sometimes what happens. And right now, 2 field goals doesn't seem like a whole lot. They matter as the game gets later.
Dixon comes back in after fumbling on his one handle in this game. They give it to him again. Dixon gets about 3 out of it. Phillips comes up to make the tackle, and a little shove. King, who made All-Pro, gives it right back to Dixon. That's a secondary that you like at Los Angeles, with both James and King making All-Pro status.
Yeah, the reason they play a lot of DBs, Phillips, James, King, is because they're good and they know how to tackle, and they can play linebacker too. It's a good defense.
After 1, you're watching the NFL on CBS. 6-0 Chargers after 1. Looking down at Charm City, which didn't produce a lot of offensive fireworks in that first quarter. 62 total yards combined. That's the fewest in the first quarter of a playoff game since 2000. And a 3rd down stop is registered by Los Angeles. And the Ravens are going to be forced to punt. That's another play by the secondary, including a dive. Let's bring in Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. An update on Melvin Gordon. He's out of the locker room. Remember, he had the right knee sprain, and he was wearing a brace on that. Now it is the left knee. He has a brace on that. He's on the sidelines. He was doing some drills. Philip Rivers intently watching him. He just grabbed his helmet. He's putting it on. They're listing him still as questionable. We'll see if he gets back out there.
Here's Cook. To punt. Back to the 7 goes King. Spins around. But the Ravens are on him at the 10. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from TurboTax. Chargers to take this snap to start the next drive at their own 10. And Gordon, you saw him grab the helmet. He's ready to give it another go. Gonna test him right away. And he's backed up. What a play by Judon. That couldn't have felt too good if you're Melvin Gordon coming back out onto the field.
Well, Judon gets on the edge, and he's now taking on the tight end, and he just handles Virgil Green. And that really set the edge, they call it. And you're not getting outside of that. He's going to control that all day.
They mark it at the 8.
Empty formation. Philip Rivers is trying to decide who's coming, who's not. He's going to tell the O-line, and if you're wrong, that ball's got to be out right now.
Gets it out quickly. Eckler slips past the first tackler. Gives them a little room out to about the 14 before Suggs finishes it off. Gain of 6. Chargers pinned after the 59-yard punt by Cook. And now can the Ravens defense pull off a 3-and-out stop?
This is really going to be an interesting play, because at this point now, 3rd and 6, Rivers is a veteran quarterback. He's seen what you're doing today. He played against you 2 weeks ago, but your defense lives and dies on pressure. If I'm Baltimore, I don't come after him on this play. I'm expecting him to have his special play ready for this one, but that's not who they are.
Keenan Allen at the top. Pressure, Rivers, sideline, and it is pulled down by Allen. His first catch, it's a big one. They get out of a jam. Gain of 17.
It's a fantastic play design, and sure enough, they were ready for this. Rivers gets a wheel route and just throws a little back shoulder to Allen, and he just goes up and makes it. But they were really ready. They were ready for pressure. That was their pressure beater right there.
Allen, who had a 97 catch season. On first down, Gordon only for 1. Carr comes up to make the tackle. Look at this. Between 2000 and 2012, 9 teams that played on the wild card weekend actually ended up reaching the Super Bowl. But in the last 5 years of the playoffs, 13 on, we haven't had one come out of this wild card weekend make it to the big show. But you've been saying since the top, you think either one of these teams,
they're good enough to. They are complete football teams. The one area is I'm seeing a trend with the Chargers, and I'll explain it in their D-line right now, what they're doing to slow down Baltimore.
2nd and 9 first. Rivers steps up, and he's going to run with it. It doesn't happen that often, and he picks up a good gain. He's about a yard short of the first before Kenny Young finished him off and matched the longest rush of the season for Rivers, gain of 7.
Well, and Rivers just trying to find a soft spot in the pocket to get the ball out, but couldn't find a spot, and then showing those wheels for the young fella.
Those 37-year-old young wheels.
We were joking about it. 4-by-1, 4 receivers on one side. You motion the back end, Rivers sees who's covering him. Then you make the protection. Rivers is trying to block him. He thinks he's coming.
He is. 3rd and 2. Pass. Oh, he had a man open. Mike Williams was the intended receiver, and the Chargers series is over.
Well, you saw Owasu blitz right there. He had a fantastic game against him that week, 2 weeks ago. Defensive player of the week, Jim?
In the AFC, yes. He had 2 sacks, a forced fumble.
It was on that same pressure right there you saw, where they're rushing the back, they call it. That means you rush where the back is, and they're putting pressure up the middle on Rivers.
Here's Donnie Jones, who won a Super Bowl ring last year, hunting for the Philadelphia Eagles, then retired. And then, well, the Eagles removed him from the reserve retirement list in April. Chargers ended up signing him. That's a 38-yard punt. Here's the possession chart for Baltimore so far. This will be their 5th drive coming up. So far, they picked up 2 first downs, and they fumbled 3 times.
This is not the start you wanted, and I think the adjustment that San Diego has made, or that LA, the Chargers have made, has been outstanding.
Here's a fake into the line, and Jackson's going to go deep. No one there. And they've held them to only 31 yards rushing so far.
And this is why. You see, they're playing linebackers, are safeties. Number 37, 31, 33. These are safeties playing linebacker because they're good, and you're going to watch them. They're fast, and they can shoot gaps and play 2 gaps. Watch how fast they go when they make decisions. They shoot these gaps really quickly. Melvin Ingram playing fantastic on the edge, but really the speed and what they've put in there has really disrupted this Ravens offense.
Jackson looking to throw again. Going to take off. Going to take up and open up that speed for another scramble for a first down at the 40-yard line. That one goes for 17.
Jackson play fake, looks downfield, and then just fires right up. And you see he actually, there's a spy on him, but Davis isn't fast enough.
Yeah, Michael Davis was waiting for him.
Yep.
Jackson able to make one cut and get away from him. So he's had 2 scrambles that have picked up first down. That's been the only thing that's worked so far for him.
Well, now watch this right here. This is the same front last week that Cleveland used. They're going to crash down on the edge, and these guys will go out to the side and go at the run.
1st and 10 carry by Dixon. We're about 4. That's Bosa on the tackle. Later today, the NFC playoffs continue on NBC as the Eagles take on the Bears in Chicago, and then next week Fox will have the full NFC divisional round. Cowboys winning last night over Seattle. Eagles and Bears again coming up later today. Now Chris and crew. Michelle will be on hand for that one. 2nd and 6 from the 44. Pass up in the air, intercepted. Picked off by Phillips. He was trying, Jackson was trying to connect with Chris Moore.
And it's just a high ball. And there's nothing more important, Baltimore said coming in this game, than the ball But unsung heroes that not a lot of people know about. Phillips, 31, gets those hands right there. He's got great instincts, just kept playing good ball. And Casey Hayward gets right in there and makes the play to tip it over to his teammate.
Jackson, that's the first interception he's thrown in his last 128 attempts. He did not throw a pick in the entire month of December.
Well, this is a different style, though. They're shutting the run. They're making it very difficult, and we're trying to explain it. Last week, at the end of the game, Cleveland came up with a really unique plan, and I'm seeing the Chargers use that.
Chargers now get the pass over to Gordon, and he spins out of a tackle out of Carr, but Carr finishes him off after a gain of about 3.
We've done enough games now to see that no one slowed them down like this.
And there you see Joe Flacco sitting on the bench right next to Jackson.
It's not out of the realm.
No, it's not.
It's not out of the realm.
He has a little playoff experience. I mean, one of the great playoff runs ever. The 11 touchdown, no interception run of 6 years ago, including the Super Bowl MVP down in New Orleans.
It's rare to have a Super Bowl MVP sitting right there next to you.
2nd and 7 on the toss. Gordon gets around the corner, leaps. I guess he's feeling all right. It's near a first.
I like it. They're attacking the perimeter, getting the ball outside. You see a toss play. And just a great job getting on the edge by Gordon after the great block by Okun. And a little jump.
Yeah, right over Jimmy Smith.
And he's fine.
3rd and a foot. And Gordon takes the pile for the first down, but a flag is in the secondary.
Men on the defense. Penalties 5 yards from the previous spot. Yardage is enough for a first down, Los Angeles.
So now for the 3rd time in this first half, Los Angeles will operate from the Baltimore side of the 50. Eckler moving around.
That's to see who's guarding him.
Yeah, he's checking out what Owasso is going to do.
He knows Owasu's going to rush the back and guard him one-on-one.
Take it to Eckler. Rivers in trouble. And Owasso is able to bring him down with the sack.
They tried to trick Baltimore. Owasu's right here, and this is what kept coming up. He keeps blitzing the back. Back, you're going to stay in, and I'm going to blitz. And I'm going to take you. The problem is the back, and it gets responsibility changed up between him and Green, and they don't know who's blocking him. And Rivers is pissed. But Owasu is really playing just as good in this game as he did the last time they played.
Never had a chance with that one. Second and 16. Rushing 4 this time. Rivers gets it away, completes it at the 39. That's Allen with the catch.
Well, Allen right over the middle of the field. They get time. If Philip Rivers has a little bit of time, he's going to make the throw. And they're going to be able to get big plays. It's just right now, they're not protecting, and it's the same thing as 2 weeks ago. But you really don't need to. Your defense is playing so well. You just need to get some field goals and get a couple scores.
The last time the Ravens saw an opponent snap it at this 39-yard line, it was Baker Mayfield and the Browns last Sunday, 4th and 10, and Mosley saved the season with the interception to give them the division. 3rd and 4, and it's caught for the first at the 30, Antonio Gates.
You see it, Shippy Gates. He's been a big play guy around this Chargers for years with Rivers. And Young's guarding him, and he passes him off to Jefferson, and just a good wiggle at the top. He's always had that little wiggle right at the top, and look at this combination.
Yeah, that you talk about.
As rare a combination as you'll ever see.
A comfort combination for Rivers to have Gates around. 1st and 10. And again, the Ravens make quick contact. as Matthew Judon is having a big first half. Made a couple of plays behind the line of scrimmage. That one picks up only a yard. They have been able to contain Gordon so far, 7 carries for 14 yards. But even Philip Rivers was telling us last night about how Gordon, as the game goes on, fourth quarter, watch out. He starts to get that rhythm you'll often hear about with the great backs. Try to fool him here. Eckler comes around, takes it for about 2 before Mosley meets him. Fast moving first half, just 4:20 to go.
Well, when no one actually gets any big plays and it's a battle up front, this is the kind of playoff football when you see 2 good defenses going toe-to-toe with good plans going into a playoff game. The offenses are going to have to figure it out, and the Chargers are right now. Oh, everyone's up there. Now you have to figure out who's coming.
And a flag. And a lot of finger pointing, and it's going to be against the Ravens.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
It was Judon who has been so scrappy early in this game, and he got antsy with that one, ready to make another play.
Just a little bit. You have to understand, when you get a veteran quarterback, they want to see who's coming, who's not. They're going to lift the leg, pretend the ball snapped. What Ray Lewis and all those guys used to do, they didn't even care what the quarterback did. They'd wait for under 5 seconds on the play clock. Then they would start to move into position. They still do it around here. Look at it, it's under 5. Now you start getting up in there.
3rd and 2. Rivers in trouble. Not down yet. Now heaves it. And Allen was on the ground. No flag. That was Suggs who disrupted things and forced Rivers to spin away from him for a moment. This was Humphrey on the coverage with Allen.
Humphrey does a good job. At this point, if the quarterback moves out of the pocket, you're allowed to. But really, Phillip had people open, but he couldn't because Suggs had pressure. And yeah, you can't push the receivers like that.
Well, during this entire 7-game run with Jackson at quarterback and the Ravens going 6-1, they have never been down by more than 1 possession. Biggest deficit, 8 points. This is from 40 yards out. Badgley's kick is good.
It says 2.8, but it's about 12.8 or 15. It's blowing down there. Good kick.
And it's 9-0 Los Angeles. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new 2019 Lincoln Nautilus. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu, value beyond belief. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the NFL. Well, if you're a Charger fan, Tony, how are you feeling right now? You've had 3 drives in Baltimore territory. Your kicker's been great. He's hit all 3 of his field goal attempts. Are you feeling good about being up 9-0, or are you feeling like you left a lot of points on the field?
It's a great question. I would still feel good because you are playing the #1 defense, you know, yards in the league. So to me, you're playing just the way you're supposed to play to win this game. Don't turn the ball over if you're Philip Rivers in this offense, and give them a short field.
Montgomery tackled at the 25, but Lamar Jackson's only 2 out of 7 passing. A couple of fumbles that were recovered, his fumbles.
And a sack and an interception as well.
He's missed his last 5 throws, including this pick.
I really didn't think, you know, coming into this game, it just looks like he might, it's the rookie, it's a playoff game, it's just a little off, but a lot of that you got to give credit to the Chargers. This front right here, with all these fast guys in the game, is very disruptive for what's happening for Baltimore.
Run up the middle. That's good for only 2 for Dixon. I mentioned it on the kick that the Ravens, it's been a long time. You got to go back to November for the last time this team trailed in the game by 2 possessions. They've either led or tied during this 7-game run, 6-1 record, but 83% of the time either led or tied, trailing only 17% of the time, and never down by more than 8. Now they're down 9.
Well, this is exactly what we've said. It's a test for this offense. Do you stay disciplined and keep doing it? An option offense doesn't like to get behind.
Again up the middle with Dixon, 2 straight plays. And that will be 3rd and 3 coming up. The middle of that defensive line for the Chargers without Brandon Mebane. Their fine defensive linemen, and our hearts go out to Brandon and his family, his little girl McKenna, who was born with some serious issues. And he's been with her in Omaha and not with the team this week. And when we met with the Chargers last night, they all talked about what a great teammate is and how they're missing him, but certainly understand he's doing something far more important than football. And we all sent along our best.
Can't imagine what that would be like. Our prayers are with you, Brandon Mebane and your daughter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Get your choice of 2 classics at McDonald's. And by the Home Depot, more saving, more doing. We were here last week for the Ravens-Browns game, and the Ravens ran for 296 yards in that game. And you were saying so many of these teams would love to have a second crack at them, you know, because their eyes get so deceived the first time they see this offense. And here are the Chargers 15 days later getting that opportunity you said.
Well, that's why they're putting speed on the field, and I think they have a beat on what the Ravens are doing. I think they might know based on personnel and alignment, and you got to give credit to that coaching staff being this prepared.
3rd and 4. Jackson's pass over the head of his target, Andrews. And now Jackson has misfired on his last 6 passes. And Rivers and company will have 1:55. Punt coming their way. All 3 timeouts to work with.
Well, the Baltimore needs to stand up and get a stop right here. If the Chargers go down and score, I mean, there's nothing that tells you this Baltimore team is going to move the ball efficiently in this game. The Chargers are playing fast, aggressive, and they're letting it go on the defensive line. And it's really presented trouble for Baltimore.
Cook, who's been a good one for so long, 13 years, had a 59-yard punt already in this game. He gets the fair catch by King at the 26. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. You know, he's loving this kind of football. You know that. We'll talk about the first half. Coming up shortly, Verizon halftime report. A game that so far has a total of 7 first downs.
It's hard to analyze all these incredibly 2-yard plays and talk about it, but it is playoff football.
Crowd trying to get into it. They have been pretty much silenced in the first 2 quarters. Running play with Eckler for about 4. So for those of you who thought that Rams-Chiefs game a month and a half ago, the 54-51 game, that was going to become the norm, we present this one to you as evidence to the contrary.
There eventually is too much tape, and one team figures out a plan. Cleveland at the end of the game last week has given Baltimore trouble. And all of a sudden, the Chargers play these guys a second time. They get a beat on what you're doing in the run game. They slow you down. It happens every year in the league, late in the year.
2nd and 6. Rivers completes it, and Williams is shoved out a yard short of the first by Carr. So yesterday, the visitors, the Colts, won down in Houston. Jumped on the Texans early. Advance now to Kansas City next Saturday. That's locked in. The winner of this one will face New England at Gillette Stadium next Sunday. Saturday at Kansas City, Colts Chiefs. Winner of this one at the Patriots Sunday. 3rd and 1. Went up top for it and gets it. Picks up 5. And Gates has a second catch in this game.
Phillips going no huddle now. You got plenty of time. Now you can be more aggressive because you don't think Baltimore's going to be able to get this ball back. But the ball's got to get out of your hand quick. Baltimore's the rare team who blitzes the faster you play.
One safety back deep for the Ravens. And for own 40. Rivers got hit when he threw it. Still, oh, should have been caught. It was a wobbler because of the contact on the quarterback, but Allen unable to make the catch near midfield.
This is called a high 7. Allen's inside. No one in history of football, I would say, oh gosh, he takes a beating on that play, but throws this ball better. He got hit, still threw it. It's a high, soft corner route, basically. And Rivers has thrown this for years to Gates, to Allen, to all these guys, and he throws it with touch, dropping it in like a dime, and even when he's getting hit, he still had it. They should have caught that one.
Weddle coming. 2nd and 10. They pick him up. Leaves a man open, and stepping out of bounds is Mike Williams. Second-year player who has really come on strong in his sophomore season. Picks up 14.
Watch Tavy right here, the right tackle. He takes 2 guys and pushes them wide, and they have to go back underneath. By that time, with the way he overset, it made Weddle go up and then come back under. Gave Rivers time. It was a great set by the offensive tackle.
First catch of the game for Mike Williams. Timeout called by Baltimore. Again, the Verizon halftime report will be coming up at the intermission. JB and the crew, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, they're all getting set to give you their breakdown of the first half here at M&T Bank Stadium. Verizon halftime report. Rivers is 12 out of 16, and his old buddy Weddle is gimpy. He got dinged when he was blitzing on that pass play.
Oh, stepped on that ankle, a twisted ankle right there.
Chuck Clark comes in for Weddle, number 36. 34 seconds. Chargers still with the full 3 timeouts. And a whistle. Rivers is convinced he got him to jump.
This is where a veteran quarterback really makes it difficult.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 54. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So throughout the game, he lifts his leg, all of a sudden he doesn't snap, he comes up and he changes the protection, and throughout the game, he comes up and the next time you lift the leg, the ball comes. The problem is when you come out of a break with time, you come in there and you go, hey, it's on 3 now. Wait for that. I'm not even going to tell you the play. I'm going to fake like we're calling a play, and he got him to jump.
Gets him closer to field goal range. That's the 4th penalty on Baltimore, all on the Ravens defense. Chargers have not been penalized in this game. Gets it away. And Eckler steps out after picking up another 3.
Well, this time they free released the back. And we keep talking about these pressures that come right here. Well, instead of blocking them, all you're going to do is just free release the back. And that way you can get the ball out of the quarterback's hand and into a playmaker quickly. It's a good adjustment by Rivers and the Chargers.
2nd and 2 at the 38. 29 seconds. Again, same play. Eckler able to keep his balance enough to get to the 35.
Well, we may have just mentioned their adjustment now. They're going to keep pressuring these two. Don't block them. Just run to the flat. And you can get 2, 4, or 5 yards and make someone make a tackle. That's really high-level football. Schematically, and see Judon getting up.
Yeah, he was shaken up. I'll tell you, Rivers has absorbed back-to-back big blows. He is the same jump pass. He got crushed both times.
Well, he's got a history of being tough, though, doesn't he?
I mean, he never misses a game.
His dad played him at line. His dad was his coach in high school. Played him at linebacker as a sophomore. Instead of, he's like, you're not going to start at quarterback.
Weak side linebacker. He lost the chance to start because of Grant Lauderdale. Grant, I know you just fell off the couch down in Birmingham, Alabama, but Phil's over it now. Okay, so he was a senior. Lauderdale, I'm talking about. So he was the quarterback, and that sophomore year, Philip played weak side linebacker. He said, you know what? It's really helped me, though. It definitely made me a tougher football player in my professional career.
You're right. Not right away, though. That first time you take on the fullback in the hole and a lead draw right at you, he was like, that was a little different. But then I started to enjoy it, and that helped me. And that's true of all quarterbacks. I really like to hit, too. Just usually when I got into high school and after, then I didn't. But when you're a kid, you like it. But then the guys get bigger around you, and then it's not so much fun.
Can I give Graham Lauderdale's one more prop? He led them to 10-0. They were undefeated in the regular season.
Gosh,
So,
I tell you what,
good for
you know who gets the credit there? It's Philip's dad for making the right call.
Absolutely.
Sorry, son.
That's
We're going with the hot hand here.
Ravens charged a timeout because of the injury on Judon. 25 seconds to go in the second quarter.
You still need yards this direction. We're still into the wind. Rivers calling all these plays at the line based on who's coming back in on the back.
Ravens big rush, pass down the field, and unable to turn around quite in time is Mike Williams.
And this is where you got to get your head back as a receiver a hair earlier because you're dead into the wind. The quarterback is under pressure. When you feel blitz and you have a go route, Rivers is getting that ball off early. And the wind is right in his face right now. It's just not going to get down the field as far as it normally does.
Chargers trying to add to their 9-0 lead, plus they get the third quarter kick coming their way after deferring at the top. See what they can do in 20 seconds. They run a draw with Eckler to about the 32. And a timeout called by Los Angeles with 15 seconds. The 2019 Pro Bowl presented by Verizon is headed back to Orlando for a week filled with entertainment and celebration of football at all levels. You can watch your favorite NFL stars compete in an AFC versus NFC matchup at the 2019 Pro Bowl presented by Verizon Sunday, January 27th, 3 Eastern on ESPN and ABC. And don't miss the Pro Bowl Skills Showdown on Thursday, January 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. So they try to get it that much closer. It'd be a 50-yard field goal from here, Tony, into the wind.
This is very difficult spot. You've got to get yards. I don't think you can make a field goal from here. I think you got to get at least 5 yards.
Boy, do they blitz across. It gets it over to Allen. And he picks up some valuable yardage to make it about a 41-yard field goal attempt coming up. Timeout, Chargers with 8 seconds. It'll be 41 from here, Jay Feely.
This rookie's been so impressive to make the 3 field goals, to step in after they had 6 kickers in the last 2 years. That was the big thing with the Chargers, missing field goals, losing games because of that. The wind is blowing hard to his left right now, kind of gusty. He missed a number of kicks left in warm-ups, but to be able to have a kicker, to trust him in these situations has been such a huge pickup for this Chargers team.
Well, with those who had at least a minimum 15 attempts, he has the best field goal percentage by any rookie in NFL history at 94%. Justin Tucker, by the way, was 91% in his rookie year 2012. So here he is, now waiting for an opportunity after this one more snap because they saved some seconds at 8 seconds to go.
Well, you can throw it over the middle of the field. You have a timeout, but the ball's got to come out quick. They're not going to let you. These guys should stay back here. If they come down, they won't. That's a good job getting extra yards.
Oh, look at this. Eckler all the way down to the 16, and so now they go with the kick with the timeout called.
That was a perfect play call and great execution there.
And
the only trouble you have is you got to go in that huddle and you got to say no holding. Because if you get a hold there and you're backed up 10 yards, now all of a sudden into this wind, it becomes a very difficult kick. So
Rivers going in early.
Yeah, he's cold.
He might stick around just to see if the lead is 12. It's going to be a 35-yard attempt. Yeah, you want to watch.
Well, he's going in early. I mean, he was like, I'm not going to run all the way back to the other side to run all the way back over here again.
Gotta watch.
He's saving some steps.
34 yards it is, actually. Badgley's kick. It's good. Rivers can jog on in with a 12-0 lead. They picked up 16 valuable yards on those last 2 plays. The little pass to Allen and then the run by Eckler.
They adjusted. Baltimore needs to adjust in the second half. In the run game, they need to switch it up and start coming back with a bunch of pullers. Right now, they've just dive, quarterback keep. Get back to big personnel, not little people out on that field.
4 field goals for number 4 in the first half to give the Chargers the 12-0 lead at the intermission. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. Back here in Baltimore with the Los Angeles Chargers leading it 12-0. It's time now for first half moments presented by Pepsi. Not a whole lot for the Ravens faithful to cheer about, as Michael Badgley's booted 4 field goals for all 12 of the points for the Chargers. So again, we're 12-4 in the regular season. I'm going to talk to you what we heard back in the studio as well. The discussion about Flacco. You're going to see the second half kick come to the Chargers. What do you think is going through the mind right now of John Harbaugh and what to do if things don't get any better here soon?
Well, I think Boomer talked about it, and I think he was dead on. I think you give him one more series, but you don't leave a Super Bowl MVP in his prime on that bench, mostly because, A, you know he's done it. The environment's not going to be an environment that's too big for him, obviously. And more importantly, I think, there's no tape on him and what this offense has done recently. They did not get prepared for it. You will have success. Now, it's a really big-time decision. And when you make it, you know, you're obviously going there the rest of the game. And you got to come out, though, and give your offense another chance. Maybe even 2 drives. You wait until the Chargers score again. You know, if they go down and score this one, you still come back in with Jackson. But it's definitely on the table, and Harbaugh, he knows it's on the table. Sometimes you just got to say, this schematically, this team, they know what we're doing. They have a beat on it. They have adjusted. They've seen us the second time. But it's a big boy decision if you're going to make that. But it might be the one that makes them possibly win the game if you go there.
And your whole season, of course, hinging in his last 2 quarters. As he breaks it again, King down to 40. And ridden down from behind by Averett. But an electrifying start to the second half for the Chargers as Desmond King takes it 73 yards. Derek Watt with a good block to get that going.
You want to silence the crowd? Same as the first half. You come out, you get turnovers, you get the ball. Takes the crowd out of the game. Second half, exact same thing. Create one big play. And Harbaugh disgusted with that special teams play right there.
King, who made first-team All-Pro as a defensive back and second-team All-Pro as a punt returner, has his longest kick return of the year. His previous long in the kick return game had been 40. Again, that was 73. Rivers looking for his third option. Now we'll just throw it away over the head of Gordon. All right, let's get a halftime report on what things were being said around the locker room. Tracy?
Well, Jim, I spoke with John Harbaugh, and you asked about whether we would see Joe Flacco or not. Well, I asked him as well, and you talked about being a big boy decision, a very big decision, a decision that could have implications down the road. And so Harbaugh looked at me, he said, I'm not going to answer that. He said, I appreciate you asking it, but I'm not going to answer that. He did not say no, and he didn't say yes. He certainly left the door open, Jim.
What do you take that to mean?
Well, I think what he's saying is, it's open. I'm not telling you. My hope is that we come back, Jackson comes out, and we play really well, and we've adjusted on that side of the ball, and we're going to move the ball and score. But that tells me, absolutely, it's in play.
Michael Pierce went to the bench, holding his arm, as Gordon takes it down to about the 23. After a gain of 3, giving Gordon now 8 rushes for 17 on the game. By the way, Eric Weddle is on the field. As you see, Pierce getting 10-2. Weddle went out in the late stages of the second quarter. Matthew Judon had been shaken up as well in the second quarter. He's also back on the field. 3rd and 7 from the Ravens 23. Rivers slings it. Ball came out. Now it's ruled incomplete. Williams had it for a moment. Jimmy Smith jarred it loose. Would have been a first.
It's a comeback. He goes out, you look up, make the receiver, and really great timing on the route and throw. Just need to grab it and just put it right into your body. Don't let him get a hand on it.
Busy day for Michael Badgley. Now for a 5th time. He's been good already from 21, 53, 40, and 34. This is 41. And it is blocked.
Well, we talked about the Chargers taking the crowd out of it. Baltimore just got that crowd back into it. And now they need their adjustment. Smith with a big block. Here comes Jackson.
Ravens with their first block field goal of the season and taking over now at the 31. You see it 100 minutes in real time since Lamar had his last completion. During that time, he's had 7 pass plays, no completions, 1 interception, and was sacked once.
This is what I wanted to see. Now you only have 2 receivers on the field. This is how they should run their offense.
Jackson gets shoved out by Hayward. What happened on the field goal attempt? Did you see something that was a little sloppy on the Chargers' part, Jay Feely?
Well, Jim, the snap was fine. Donnie Jones, who got brought in October, double clutched and then put it down. That has an impact on the kick. It was a low kick and it gets blocked. A huge play for Baltimore.
I would have been anxious to see if he would have pulled that and missed it. Anyway, it would have been close.
It looked similar to the kick right at the end of the first half. A driving kick that made it just inside the left upright. Za'Darius Smith with the block. And here's the sack by the Chargers. That is Justin Jones, the rookie from North Carolina State, who they told us had to step up today with Mebane out.
Well, he's just going to walk right back into the quarterback. And Jones, like you talked about, Jim, taking over for Mebane, they needed a big game out of him. Coach said, Gus Bradley comes in and goes, we need Jones to step up and make some big plays, and boy, did he ever right there.
Flacco with the helmet on, watching from the sideline. On 3rd and 11. Bosa playing on the inside on this snap. And they get to him again. That's Melvin Ingram this time.
Well, you cannot get into a passing game against this front. Melvin Ingram goes up, spin move. And that's the 2nd time they've got a great pass rusher on Hurst. Earlier you saw Bosa. They come back with Ingram that time, moving their D-ends, outside backers. They move them inside and get that one-on-one matchup. A lot of little schematic things that Gus Bradley has done brilliantly in this game.
And that makes the Ravens' total yardage now for the game drop back to 59 yards of offense. King. Got a flag right at about the yardage marker where King caught that ball. After a 48-yard punt.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 29. He's 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down, Los Angeles.
Tony, that is the first penalty of the game on Los Angeles.
Look, he's pulling his hair. Look, he's still pulling his hair. It's like me with my sister when we were growing up. You gotta let go at some point.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Jeep Wrangler. 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by State Farm. Here to help life go right. After the penalty, the Chargers backed up to their own 21. With Eckler, the running back. And the ball carrier. And a good start to the drive, 6 or 7 on that carry. Anthony Lynn in his 2nd year as the head coach, what a job he's done. 21-11 in his 2 years after starting 0-4 his rookie campaign. So he's 21-7 since losing his first 4.
I can't say enough about him. Underrated coach in the National Football League. He speaks to the team the way that I like coaches to. I talked about it earlier. He comes in on Wednesdays and tells the team what they need to do to win. And then he comes in, and every time he talks to you as a player, as a team, it's meaningful. The messages don't get lost. When he talks, this team listens, and he's got them prepared every week since he's been their head coach.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
I mean, the first thing he said when he walked into our production meeting yesterday was he's told the team we're built for this. Being on the road, being put into this kind of cauldron, if you will, this raucous building we saw a year ago. I haven't seen it so far today, but he says, I want you guys just to go play free and loose. And I think they've done that.
Well, he's been a part of some Super Bowl teams. He knows what that was like with the Broncos.
As a player.
As a player in the 90s, John Elway, that whole crew, Shanahan. And he has his team playing loose and free today.
2nd and 9. We get the completion. Ball's on the ground. And it's picked up by Mosley. And he hurdles out of bounds, and that's the break Baltimore needed. Virgil Green had the catch, and he coughed it up.
This is the only thing the Chargers couldn't do, get momentum back if they don't turn the ball over. I don't think Baltimore has got to midfield yet this game. And Anthony Lynn knows it. It's just a simple hot route. He turns around, and Green ends up getting stripped by Bowser, 54. Right there. Actually, it was Owasso. Owasso comes in and right there, boom, punches that ball out.
And Green fighting for extra yardage. Ends up having a knock loose, and the hero of a week ago has made another big play, C.J. Mosley.
How about Mosley last week? Owasso 2 weeks ago was the player of the week. Today, he definitely is for this defense. He's made 3 or 4 monster plays in this game already, almost like Ingram for the Chargers. Some huge plays by some defensive players.
Yeah, he and Judon have had big games on that Baltimore defense. Here's the handoff to Edwards. Edwards. Banged after a carry of about 3. He too has had a tougher time of it. 6 carries, now 17 yards for the rookie.
Green is not having his best game. Obviously the fumble, but he's missed 2 blocks. 1, he gave up a sack. Also on the short yardage play, he was supposed to block Urban going in for the end zone, and he ended up blocking the wrong guy, it looked like. Rough day for him right now.
2nd and 7. And it's Edwards down to about the 15. Well, you mentioned Green, who was sitting on that bench and hoping his mistake doesn't cost him too much. They were talking all week about Hunter Henry being up.
Yes.
But he's inactive again this week, still out with the knee.
This right here are going to pull and pull. This is what I think they got to get to. They got to start saying they both whiff. And you see the speed. You got Phillips and James. They go inside. But you see if he bounced that outside there? Those are big plays. They did not do much of that in the first half. They need to get back to that if they're going to run the ball on these guys.
You saw Henry, who might be activated on Monday if their season's alive. And here's Jackson. Stopped basically at the line of scrimmage. He kept it. And Ingram again makes a defensive play. And they're bringing out Tucker.
I'm telling you right now, Melvin Ingram is doing a fantastic job of playing the quarterback and the back, and he's making great decisions.
How about going for field goal here?
This is a tough one right here. Yeah,
Crowd was unsettled, by the way, with that last play call on 3rd and 4.
You do need points. You got to do something. You just get a ball. If you don't get any points here, it's just your team hasn't moved the ball at all.
Here's the kick by Tucker. It's good from 33. They turned the fumble into 3. Their first points of the game. 8.5 to go in the 3rd. Well, the Ravens now have matched with points their total first downs in the game. 3 first downs, 3 points.
I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah,
I'm giving the Chargers credit for this because they have a beat, no question. They have had an incredible plan. Guys are playing incredible, but I think they have, the second time you play them. they're playing first team who's played this offense, and it's going to be a struggle for Baltimore all day. They need this defense to create 2 turnovers in this game. They got one of them. They're going to need another one, I think, for them to win this game.
Touchback by King, considered the league's most prestigious honor, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. This year's nominee for the Chargers is Corey Liuget, and for the Ravens is Brandon Carr. This year's winner will be announced at NFL Honors on CBS the night before Super Bowl 53. To learn all about this year's nominees, visit NFL.com/Man of the Year. There's Carr. Done great work in the community here with his Carr Cares Foundation, focusing on educational enrichment and physical fitness for youth. As Gordon kicks it in gear, takes it for about 8. Let's get an injury update from Tracy.
Well, Jim, Ravens defensive tackle Michael Pierce, he is questionable with a right elbow injury. And keep an eye on Terrell Suggs. He sat out a bunch of plays on the last drive. He's still on the sideline right now watching. He was looking at his left knee. That's what seems to be bothering him. So certainly something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I saw him early in the game get banged up, return. He hasn't been himself. 2nd and 2. Oh, what a play this time! And again, it's Owasso.
I tell you what, Owasso is playing the game that you want for someone to come out. Watch him right here. I mean, he just keeps making plays and making the right decisions, shooting the gap. I mean, it's such high level, and we have to keep saying Owasso. It's the hardest name on this team to pronounce, and I've said it 48 times in this game, and he deserves it. Outstanding individual performance right now by him.
It's a guy who began his college career at Arizona as a wide receiver before playing safety at Portland State, where he transferred to. He never played linebacker until he got into the NFL. 3rd and 6. Rivers down the middle and almost intercepted. Oh, we had 4 Ravens were in the area as Mike Williams was the receiver and Tony Jefferson helped bust it up.
This was not a good decision by Rivers here. You got Humphrey right there, but you also had 3 or 4 guys around the area.
Humphrey had his hands on it.
And Humphrey ran the route for him. And that was the one the Ravens, they can't give them the short field, Chargers. That's how they're going to come back. They got away with one right there. And Baltimore's got to do something on offense.
Cyrus Jones, you see him off in the distance. Dangerous punt returner. A Baltimore native. They've done it again. They've blocked the kick. Buck Allen, the backup running back, was the one who got a hand on it. 2 blocks in the quarter, 1 on a field goal, 1 on a punt, plus a fumble recovery.
It's a phenomenal time and just finding the little gap. And Buck Allen with a possible game-changing play. And you can run into him, obviously, once you touch the ball.
Gets the hand on it. It does not count as a block because it traveled 11 yards, but call it what you want. What a big play it is.
And now we got the 3 tight end game. Baltimore finally going to the big personnel.
Edwards stumbles ahead for about 4, maybe 3.
This crowd is just dying to just erupt with one big play on offense. You're getting them on defense.
And special teams.
And special teams. It's almost like a switch from the first half for the Chargers, who took the crowd out of it. This crowd is dying to create it. The Chargers need to stand up and do what they've been doing. If you're a Raven fan, you are in big personnel from here on out. And pulling people, pull your guards, pull your tackles.
2nd and 7. Jackson still has it. Now he's going to take off. Jackson inside the 20 and dives down at the 18. And a flag is down all the way back in the offensive backfield.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Called on the left tackle, Ronnie Stanley, and that's a huge momentum killer.
And you know who's the guy? It's Ingram. Look at that, in and out, and then watch, here's the tackle at the end. I mean, that's a good wrestling move. But you can't get away with that. That's a good call.
Two-point takedown, 10-yard penalty.
That was almost the first down of the second half for either team.
Instead, they retreat back to the 47. He had scrambled all the way down to the 18. 29-yard differential. Ingram coming after him. Sidearm pass, somehow caught. Max Williams gets it to about the 40, so Jackson able to improvise and finally get another completion after about 2 hours of real time.
Well, this is a screen pass where you block Ingram, you fake, you let him go, and then you throw it to the guy that was blocking him, Williams. It's a good play call, gets back 8 yards. Tucker can make it from here, Jim. So you're in field goal range, no sacks. You're obviously trying to get the first down. I don't think it matters to get 4 yards.
3rd and 9. Able to get out of trouble. Stiff arms. Derwin James. And they mark him out 2 yards short of the first. Rookie on rookie. James holds him short of the first by 2.
And this is...
Yep, Tucker's coming out.
He is coming out, but look at James is fast, explosive. You know, he can play in space. This is what they didn't have last year. A guy like this to make this play and keep you short of the first down. He's a great eraser tackler, I call him. When someone else misses a block or does something, he's there, he's around it, he's going to make up for other people.
So this will be from 50 yards to bring it down to a 1-possession game. Tucker's kick is wide right, no good.
Oh my goodness, we talked about it.
His first miss in his career in the postseason.
We thought
his first 9.
We thought the monster advantage was Baltimore's.
Right.
Wow.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. And by Royal Caribbean. This is not the Caribbean, this is the Royal Caribbean. So, Justin Tucker missed 5 kicks now on the entire year, field goals that is, 3 of them against the Chargers. But all of them, you must say, were from 50 and beyond. That one wide right, so Chargers take over at the 40. Za'Darius Smith has that side locked down. This third quarter, there have been some opportunities. First you had Za'Darius Smith, who just made the last tackle, gets the block on the field goal attempt by Badgley. They could have made it 15-0. Buck Allen with a block. And then Tucker missing from 50. Second and 9.
Go.
Judon coming after Rivers, who's just going to heave it. And it got past the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Ravens now have adjusted. They're not letting the back just sneak out like they were at the end of the half. They're peeling off with them, which means a rusher just says, if he releases, you go with him. You don't keep rushing. And that right there is Wink Martindale, and I think he deserves more. Basically, I think he's the next good head coach. You need to get him in for an interview. This guy will turn your program around quickly.
Even Eric Weddle telling us the guys gravitate toward him. He would be a great head coach. First-year D coordinator. 3rd and 9. Rivers able to find Gates. Old reliable. Able to do what he used to do, grabbing it with one hand and reeling it in and taking off for the first.
Well,
picks up 13, and that's the first down of the quarter.
And really an excellent job by Rivers staying patient under extreme duress and pressure. And then Gates, old trusty faithful, the guy who's been there forever.
Gates, when he came back, he was talking to Rivers. Rivers wanted to make sure, hey, they're going to re-sign him with the Hunter Henry injury. You know, they waited till September. He says, Gates finally says, you know, I'm coming back. You can't win this thing without me. Give it up to Benjamin. Green trying to shield that side. By the way, the catch by Gates led to the first down of this quarter. 12 minutes in by either side.
It's been a scintillating offensive performance on both sides of the ball here, but you know, I do think that right now, as this game just keeps going, we know how this is being played out. Like, it's not like there's anything brand new coming up here. The Chargers, successful when they're running on the edge, not very much up the middle. They got to get the ball out of Rivers' hands quickly on all these pass plays where they spread them out. And the Ravens, they're in a tough spot. They've got to score.
Gordon lined up as receiver. They're going down the field, and it is caught by Mike Williams. That's going to be the biggest offensive play of the game by either side. 28 yards.
And Williams goes inside, and Smith is outside. So it's supposed to be a tough throw up the seam because you're like, oh, I got to throw it inside. But it's cover zero, which means there's no help anywhere. They're blitzing, and they haven't done that much today. And this was the first time, and Rivers was ready for it and got the ball off instantly with a perfect throw.
That's the first play that went for over 20 yards. Goes right back to Gordon. He's got room. Down to the 5, tiptoeing to about the 2. And give Virgil Green some credit on this one. He helped clear that side, Tony.
Well, you saw the juice here. Virgil comes into your screen, lead blocker, 88. And he gets in right there on Jefferson. But that's what we want to see. They got to get the ball outside. You're not running up the middle on this Ravens defense. All the success is coming. They're starting to do it now.
So the foot out of bounds as Gordon made one late attempt to reach for the pylon, but it was too late. He was already out. But first and goal. First and goal at the 1. Gordon stacked up. Well, you remember early in this game, Tony, they had a first and goal at the 6, and they went run, field goal. And they tried this running it up the middle action again on a goal-to-go situation. Wasn't there again.
Yeah, this is
lost a yard.
It's okay though. You're working the clock as well. If you pop it, you don't lose yards. I do think this is going to be an interesting decision if they score a touchdown. Do you go for 1 and make it 16 points, or do you go for 2 and make it a 3-score game? We'll see right here.
One up top. Rivers throws. Diving catch. Made by Watt, who tried to roll in, but he's a half-yard short to close out the quarter.
Wow, this had him wide open. Rivers just underthrows the ball, tails with the wind. He catches it.
Boy,
that's close. We're going to have to look.
Close to the plane. Into the 3rd. Back in Baltimore, the challenge flag has been issued by the Chargers on the Derek Watt catch and rollover. They say they believe it's a touchdown. Gene Steratore, you've had a chance to look at it. What do you think?
I think we have a touchdown, Jim. And when he possesses and begins to roll, the first contact, which we just see there, the football has broken the plane of the goal line, from my opinion. I think we're going to have a touchdown on this play. You can see right there is where we get the first touch, and that football is beyond the plane of the goal line.
You'll see Board touch him right there. And we think that's probably breaking the line. Is it for sure, though?
You know, that's why we're here, Tone. To me, it is.
I can guess. I mean, we brought you in just to tell us the truth exactly how it's
I'm going to make an educated guess on this one and say that it did break the play. And I think another interesting point is if they overturn this to a touchdown, we've got to go back and look at the clock.
Might be some time left in the 3rd quarter. Exactly. Is that your point? They could actually be a second or 2 left in the quarter. They have to go all the way back to the other end of the field. And here again, that's the best angle, and that's breaking the plane before he's touched by Board.
It looks like it. You know what else, though, what I think of as a player? When you change quarters, you go to the other side of the field. So all these offensive linemen now are going to have to walk all the way back 100 yards to go kick an extra point, and then walk back to the. I mean, that's just right here. You're going to see all these grumpy big guys, but it's been. I think that's probably a touchdown, but it's really close, right? To like, if you were out there, it'd be like. Ooh.
It is very close, but I think we've gotten some good shots. And as far as that 110-yard run, for the offense, it's a shorter run.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands as call. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the half-yard line.
Okay.
Well, that's why we have all of us up here telling you exactly how it's going to go. That was one of those things where it's a tough call.
What did they see that we didn't see?
They probably couldn't tell, Gene, when he touched them, maybe?
When you say that, it may be what they didn't see. It didn't jump out enough to them. It sure did to me, though, guys.
And look where they marked the ball. It's not like it's inches away. It's just inside the 1. I don't get that.
Yeah, that is true. Why would they play that?
All right, 4th quarter begins with a crucial snap. 3rd and goal. To Gordon. He fumbled on the way in. Humphrey's got it. Rivers unable to slow him down, and Humphrey is going all the way, although there are arms waving at the other end. They're waving at the other end that he might have been down, that he was down. It's going to be the ruling on the field.
Jim, we had this happen. Why do they blow it dead on touchdowns?
This last week,
regardless of whether it's a touchdown or not, you have time to let it play out. We don't know what happened. Let's see. Is it loose? I think the ground probably caused it, so he's probably down.
Then that's a touchdown.
Well, did he get touched before that right there?
Ruling on the field, it's a touchdown by Los Angeles prior to the player losing control.
Wow. Well, you're talking about just last week, again referencing the Ravens-Cleveland game, in which there was a whistle on a Lamar Jackson dive for the end zone. Ball came out, and Jabril Peppers picked it up for the Browns and was on his way to running it back in the same direction. All right, Gene's territory, we're going to keep you busy. What do you see here?
I think what we've got is when he's diving there, the minute that forearm hits the ground now, he is down. So if the ball pops out, ground can't cause a fumble. The real question is he losing? Is that ball suspended in air and not in his possession? And when that elbow touches, does the tip of that football break the plane of the goal line?
Was Weddle? Yeah, Weddle touches him. So the moment his elbow hits, that's down right there.
Correct, but it's whether he has possession of that football, Tony, at that point. There's that moment where the ball kind of hangs in space for a second and it's floating.
That's a tough call.
It does look like it was floating for a second, then he tried to regain control of it right there. But is that enough to be possession?
The last shot that we get, Jim, to me, that looks like he's lost possession at that point, and now it bangs off the ground. Ooh. It's like a short hop, shortstop there, but I think he's lost possession there, which would not constitute possession breaking the goal line, in my opinion.
And you're sure that Weddle touched him?
I saw Weddle touch him in the backfield, yes. Weddle creates that play, which means now he's down the moment he touches the ground, unless the ball is being...
Let's see, here's going to be an angle on whether or not Weddle made contact with him. He touches his leg. He touches his left leg.
It's a great effort by Weddle and an incredible effort by Gordon to stay on his feet. But we see this time and time again. It's like, is it worth stretching that ball? And it's really, I mean, I think he's just down, just short right there. Right when that white touches right there. I think he's just short right there, and he still had possession. So he'd be down by contact then if that played up that way. And then, Jim, what down is it then when he comes back?
It would be 4th down. Ooh. Remember, they marked it on the previous catch by Watt all the way basically at the 1 yard line. They had to go the full yard. And now, if you guys have it right, this should be inches away.
You just don't know, but it's a big monster call, obviously.
After review, the runner was touched and down by contact with a ball short of the goal line. It'll bring up 4th down at that spot. Please put 14 minutes, 58 seconds on the game clock. 14:58.
They adjust the clock and say that last play only took 2 seconds. And now the offense stays on the field for 4th and goal, inches outside the end zone.
Oh, you can't just run this up the middle, Kenny. I mean, you really should, but you've been stuffed all day, and Suggs is back in the game.
At the last moment. Back to Gordon, he's in for the touchdown. The first of the game. Hey, what a game. Every inch has been challenged.
And I love it here. You know what? Pierce is not in the game. The big guy right up the middle. And when he's not in that game, you can run it and they do right down, and there's a big hole. And the Chargers created inside. And here it is, the possession we talked about. They're going for 2. They're trying to go up 17, make it a 3-score game.
And they go 4 wides.
Well, no one's covering Mike Williams right now.
He's looking around for somebody. Levine shifts over to get on him. Rivers looks that way. Rivers throws in zone, and it's Williams wide open like he was in Kansas City. Except to the other side.
Exactly right. Just wide open. Just like he was before the play. Chargers up 3 scores. What do you do, Jim?
If you're wondering if Joe Flacco should be coming in at this point, down 17, he stays on the bench. Jackson grabs the helmet and is ready to go. What about that decision, Tony?
It's a tough call. We talked about it at halftime. I would have pulled the trigger right here, and I'd have went to him. I think it's right about that time where it's your last chance, and it's about the team and winning. This has nothing to do with Jackson, nothing to do with this anybody else or a decision. You don't think about tomorrow. You think about this right now. And I can tell you hear the crowd?
Yeah, the booing.
I think everyone's thinking it, but I can tell you right now is that borderline spot. You got a chance. I mean,
every time they've had the ball,
you gotta empty your chamber, right? If it's the last game and your season's down the line, you've seen enough. I mean, it's just a tough game. It happens. It's the NFL, you know. But it's a tough call for John Harbaugh right now. I know he loves this kid. You don't want to do, but it's about the football team, and it's if they score on this drive, obviously.
Here he keeps it and looks to throw. They close in on him, and he dives down for a loss of 1. And the crowd is restless with this season pending on these last 14 minutes. They have 3 first downs for the entire game. That's all.
I mean, even if it's just going to be hard for them to score 3 times. I mean, let's pretend they get 1 big play. I mean, I understand that, but it's like you need to score and score now. You have the defense to get the ball back.
When you factor in sacks, the Ravens' passing yardage for the game, 6 yards. 2nd and 11. And he's in trouble again. Able to wiggle free and fire. And that's on the ground, short of Snead. Jackson 3 out of 10 for 25 yards and an interception.
You knew they were going to run into a team who had a great plan, knew what you were doing, was going to make it tough. And right now, he's talking about going forward on 4th down. And what they're going to do, but it's been very rough on this team.
3rd and 11, here comes Ingram, and he gets to him.
Once again, Ingram lines up over Hurst in another matchup. And right here, Ingram, watch him come right in. And it's actually Bozeman now in at left guard, and he does the same thing. He gives up another sack, and wow, the Chargers are playing outstanding football.
That was their 5th sack of the game. And with that loss of 8 yards, the Ravens' passing yardage total for the game is -2 yards. To go with 76 on the ground. 74 total. Chargers take over. Good field position, leading by 17 in the 4th. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL. Chargers have the ball on the Ravens side of the field at the 45. Eckler waiting for something to develop. Runs right into Brandon Williams and picks up a couple. That last drive by the Chargers, so close, has had to be looked at for a couple of minutes before it was ruled no touchdown. And then the dive by Gordon with the ball kind of coming out. He was ruled down by contact. And finally on 4th down, 4th and goal, he's able to take it in for the game's only touchdown.
Oh, that was a cool wall they put there on the line.
How come I didn't see that wall when it was live? Did you see it? 2nd and 8. And the Ravens make a quick stick. Mosley, Urban, and others no gain. Back down to Tracy.
Well, Jim, this Ravens offense just kind of in shock and dejected, but just constant coaching going on down here, including quarterbacks coach James Urban continuously talking with Lamar Jackson, not talking really to Joe Flacco at all. And when you think about this defense, you had Pierce and Suggs and Judon and Weddle all banged up at one point, and now throw in Patrick Owasu dealing with cramps. They have been on the field a lot more than they're used to lately, Jim.
Yeah, the time of possession the last 7 games have been heavily stilted in favor of Baltimore. Not today. 3rd down. Rivers escapes. Look at him take off. And he gets hit around the neck by Mosley. But he'll signal 1st down, will he? Yeah, there you go. Oh, he's a trash talker. What did Weddle say about him? It's like a grandpa trash talking, something along those lines.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 29. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. 1st down, Los Angeles.
Armbar tackle.
Well, this is Rivers protecting himself with all costs. But remember, he's a linebacker. That was nothing for him. And he shows you with a little 1st down.
Little red cash in there.
I really thought this game was going to come down to him running for some 1st downs and some key moments.
Sure.
Isn't that what we were saying?
That is Tony Romo at his best. That's how good.
That's his key move that he does to carry this team.
That's, now he is, earlier matched his longest run of the season with a 7-yard scramble. Now he's eclipsed that with a 9-yard run.
You just saw his longest run of his career, folks. That was
pretty much.
He's not known for getting out, but a couple of big rushes by him today.
Hey! 5 seconds to Mike! Delta!
This is Jackson, who saw a lot of action during Gordon's absence, including in the games that they had to play right at the end of November, 1st of December. They had that critical stretch, including a game at Pittsburgh. Jackson, rookie out of Northwestern. And they'll take the time with it now as we move inside 11 minutes. Trying to earn their way to New England next Sunday in the divisional round and take on the Patriots.
Well, this is why you don't want a 12-win team coming in to take them on in the first game in the playoffs. This Chargers team was tied for the best record in the AFC for a reason. You're seeing it today.
Here's a 2nd and 9 run. It's down to about the 23 for Jackson. They were a confident bunch. You normally get the confident vibe when you meet with the teams, but there was something about being on the road. They proved it all year long. They were completely undaunted by the task of having to play on the East Coast.
It's a great point by you because they played their home games, and half the time it felt like it was on the road at home. They had to go silent count. They were on the road most of the year, I feel like.
3rd and 5. And
ooh, big call. It might have got him. Ooh, left tackle might have moved, though. Did they get Okun before they got...
False start. Offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Oh, they called it on Pouncey, the center. Moved his head really, really fast.
so the Chargers trying to make it 2 for 2 as far as the road teams winning. On the AFC side of things, the Colts yesterday continuing with this remarkable stretch that they've had by winning over Houston 21-7 down in Texas. And the Chargers trying to make it the 5 and the 6 seeds, making it to the divisional round. 3rd and 10. Ravens bring everybody basically. Rivers goes down the field. Just unloaded in time. Saved the sack. And over the head of Williams. Badgley will have another crack at a 5th field goal. One last thing about this being on the road. Sometimes people say, oh, those teams from the West Coast, they got to go play on the East Coast. They got to play a 1 o'clock game. You know, the body clocks are off and everything. They came in here on Friday, get adjusted, but they've won their last 5 in the Eastern and Central time zones, plus a game in London this year. So, doesn't bother them. Here's Badgley.
When you're good, you're good.
Badgley's kick. It's a low driving kick, and it is good from 47.
And when you kick it good, you kick it good. Write that down.
Aerial coverage is provided by State Farm. We're down to just 9 minutes, 9 seconds to go. And Flacco continues to just sit and not be called on at all. I thought that perhaps that last series might have been the clincher. But I guess
I think he's going
to ride it all the way with Jackson, I guess.
Yeah, and he thinks it's probably too late now at this point. It was really at the end of that 3rd that you really had to make that call for sure to start the 4th.
Montgomery to about the 25, just an 18-yard run back. You mentioned earlier, you saw it, that Melvin Ingram was going to have his way on the field today, Tony.
Well, he used the MVP of the game today. Early in the game versus the run, slips inside, disrupts the entire blocking scheme. Then in the passing, they get matched up, and he actually is getting double teamed right there, but spins back inside. And then when they went one-on-one with him, no chance.
Here's Jackson. Completes it to Snead. Mark him out about a yard short. The last first down that the Ravens offense picked up came with 10 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. No first downs in the entire 2nd half.
Well, that's why I think you should have gone to Joe, before, because it's like the game just doesn't get all of a sudden way easier, for a young player like that. It's going to be hard the entire game.
2nd and 1, and the ball knocked loose. Incomplete. Phillips knocking it out of the hands of Andrews.
And once you're down that many, Jim, I mean, it's just over the ball, and you'll see, Andrews just getting hit right away. But once you can see how the defense is playing the offense, you can just feel the flow of the game. When you're down multiple scores like that, you just know you can't really just, all of a sudden we're going to turn it on and be great. That's not this offense. They haven't been that way. You said earlier they haven't been down, Tony. It's going to be interesting when they're down, if they get down in this game. And you were right on.
3rd and 1. Jackson somehow was able to escape and pick up a first. He had Philon right around his ankles. Philon was just about to bring him down, but he slipped out of it, picked up 7.
He does a good job getting away here. But, you know, they need to get this ball down the field quickly to have a chance at all.
They go underneath with Brown. We'll pick up 9.
Hey, you forgot, they got a first down.
Yeah. Almost got another one.
The tough part about this is now you're going into your offseason, you know, if they don't make a incredible comeback right here.
Look out. They got him back at the 38. Rochelle is the man who tackles him. Isaac Rochelle. Let's go to the sidelines, Tracy.
Well, Jim, fans behind the bench calling for Joe Flacco, but cornerback Jimmy Smith went over to those fans and he said, how do you think we got here? Number 8, don't be a fair weather fan, Jim.
Well, you know, that's a lot of truth in that. That's what he did. It's also the question of why in the middle of a game are you interacting with the fans trying to answer those kinds of calls.
Well, it's good to stand up for your teammates, and that's a good thing, you know, by Smith right there. But at the same time, you know, this is your season. There's so many people involved. It's not about any one person. It's not about Jackson. It's not about Flacco. It's about the team and trying to win this game and move on to next week. Sometimes it's just a really difficult game when you are this orientated in one department, running the football, or if you were just a pass team and this team all of a sudden was the best pass defense in history. It's just a hard game.
Going to be offsides against the Chargers. 3 down. And it is caught by Snead. And that was Jenkins who held on to him. Looked like a couple of Chargers had jumped quickly.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Bosa for being offsides.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 99. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is first down.
That was the longest play of the game for the Ravens, 29 yards.
And you see, people have been open. You know, it's just this isn't who they are. This isn't their identity. They went on this winning streak. But this is the first time a team has played you a second time. And because of that, they were just better prepared up front in the run game and had a beat on what you do.
Ball down the field, and it is caught. That's Crabtree with the touchdown. Yards, Jackson to Michael Crabtree.
Well, it's a good throw. It's a go route, but somehow Hayward, who's playing him one-on-one, lets Crabtree just run right by him as if he has help over the top. It was a very simple throw catch. He's in bounds, right 1, 2, yep. And it's confirmed a touchdown.
That is Crabtree's first postseason touchdown since he caught one against the Ravens in Super Bowl 47. Now, speaking of that game down in New Orleans, Super Bowl 47, the Harbaugh brothers, the head coaches of the Niners and the Ravens. Joe Flacco threw for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions the entire postseason. Remember Jacoby Jones returning that second half kickoff, 108 yards for the touchdown. In the end, the Ravens won at 34-31. And the Super Bowl is 4 weeks away on CBS. From Atlanta, Super Bowl 53. We can't wait to bring it to you in these next weeks, though, leading up to it. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
It will be fascinating to watch. And here's also another fascinating moment.
Are you setting up Jay Feely here?
I was.
Yeah, that was your lead? Go for it, Jay.
As good as Justin Tucker's been, you saw 0 for 11. The league in general this year down to 8% recovery on onside kicks from 23% last year. That's because of the rule change. You can't overload anymore. You can't get a running start. If you can get a real high ball, a high hop, where that ball is now live, that's your best chance to recover this ball.
Can I tell you, I know they had to do it for safety. I wish there was a middle ground because, as you said, only for the entire season.
You see that circle? There's 5 guys on each side. You don't get extra players over there.
Yeah.
And that extra player would have been right around that spot.
And a flag and a Chargers recovery. Jenkins was the one who recovered it for Los Angeles.
What are they discussing here, Jim?
I don't know. Jay may have a better handle on that.
Jim, I think they're discussing whether it was offsides or not on Baltimore. And then also looking at whether it was touched early.
Well, you can touch it early if you're the Chargers.
Illegal formation. The kicking team, number 51. That'll be a 5-yard penalty and will re-kick. Please put 6 minutes, 32 seconds on the game clock. 6:32.
Gene, why are they going to re-kick? The Chargers recovered.
Correction. We have an illegal formation on the receiving team, number 51. Again, the penalty is enforced 5 yards from the kick spot, and we will re-kick.
Now I get it. Why they're going to do that.
Oh, that's right. Now you can't go across. So see him? He can't go across.
That's Kyle Emanuel.
I'm guessing he can't go across unless you're going to get the ball.
Let's bring in Gene.
Until the ball hits the ground, I believe, then. And he crossed before?
Correct. The ball was airborne. He crossed prior to, and that he had an illegal. He broke the receiver's restraining line prior to meeting that requirement.
Interesting. So the ball has to hit the ground before he can pass. So we'll see another one.
On the other side this time, and Keenan Allen jumps up and grabs it and steps out at the 50. There's 6.5 to go. Actually did a pretty good job with this. He just happened to kick it to a guy that caught 97 passes this year. And it had the makings of taking a crazy bounce.
Well, they're trying to make the game safer, too. You know, that's why they don't let you overload. All these new rules on these special teams are all about that and creating that environment. You see those guys, everyone has to stand up there. It does make the game safer, but it is harder to get an onside kick then.
Yeah, it's harder 2 scores down to have a chance, a realistic chance with an onside recovery. Again, only 4 in the entire league this year. Eckler for about 8.
He thinks a very smart play there, but I actually think only under 5 minutes does the clock actually.
Yeah, it didn't make any difference.
Stop, but he was thinking correctly.
Actually, mark him all the way back at the 44. I thought he was closer to the 41. Not sure about that spot. Ravens defense has to come up with a big play. And Eckler for one more. And then Williams there, maybe no gain.
They have all 3 timeouts. You're down 13 points. You got 3rd and 4. It's a 2-possession game. If you hadn't felt the way this game has gone the whole time, you still might think, okay, with a stop here, we can probably get it back. We can go down and score with about 2 minutes, use our 3 timeouts and get it back. You'd believe that. It just doesn't feel that way because how the game has gone and how the Chargers have dominated. But you have an opportunity. You need to forget about all that, Baltimore. Get a stop right here and we'll see.
Yeah, the offense awoke on that last drive, did Baltimore's. Here's a little fling to Allen, and he's taken down for a loss of 1 by Weddle. Weddle and Rivers, who communicated on Monday of this week, old teammates who stay in touch, whose homes are just about 15 minutes drive apart. When they texted on Monday, they both just said, let's go, round 2.
I give Philip Rivers credit. He's actually done a fantastic job in this game. He only threw one ball that I thought really was a reactionary throw under pressure that they could have
The one in the middle of the field to Mike
exactly.
Williams.
You can remember it clear as day because it was really the only one. And to do that against this Baltimore team, get rid of the ball, you know, don't just take sack after sack, throw it to your back quickly, move on. It's an efficient game, and he really has done it the correct way if you're going to go into an environment like this and win.
Coming out of a Ravens timeout, by the way. Leaving them with 2. Ronnie Jones. Ball hits at the 6, bounds in. With 4:47 to go, just a net of 25. And coming up, the State Farm post-game show. We'll send it up the road to JB and Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights from this game. Little look back at the full landscape of the NFL and the scores, the 3 games that have gone final over the weekend. Coming up on the State Farm post-game show. Jackson's pass. They were starting to collapse that pocket, and he ended up getting knocked down. Ingram and Bosa were pinching the edges.
Yeah, Crabtree was open on the sideline, ran a good route, but you can see right there the efficient day by Rivers. And Jackson got most of his yards on the last drive.
Yes, he did. Including a 31-yard touchdown pass to Crabtree.
Definitely didn't get the offensive juggernaut game.
2nd and 10. Over to Dixon. He falls down about 6, maybe 5 yards short of the first.
And now you're seeing the strength of the Chargers pass rush. When they know you're passing, you're going to see the edge. Bosa, Ingram, they're on the edges now.
3rd and 6. Get it to Dixon. And he fights for that first down. Good effort by Dixon, who had that costly early fumble in the game. And now the Ravens trying to hurry up.
Yeah, you got them on your heels. Take a shot right here down the sideline. Double move. You got an opportunity. You got a first down. Get up.
Jackson's pass to Andrews. And he steps out to stop the clock at 3:45 to go.
What yard line does it get uncomfortable if you're a Charger fan? When is it like, oh, this is getting a little too tight? Is it the 20, 30? I mean, when is it still like, okay?
2nd and 1. And the ball is caught by Gus Bradley. His first catch of the game. Got to give Coach Bradley a nod, the former head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 2nd-year defensive coordinator here. Certainly a super positive and faith-based message in so many things that he says. And his team came out with a plan here today that gave the Ravens fits, unlike anything they've seen.
I'm pretty sure they played 3 safeties at linebacker most of the game against a running team.
Jackson picks up the first to the 50.
I've never seen it. Never.
Here's a question.
They played 3 safeties at middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Almost the entire game, maybe the whole game.
James, Adai, and Phillips.
You can see them right there. Look at these numbers. There's 30, 30, 20. These are DBs. and they're stopping the run. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've done today. And
So
he
is
came up
this-
with that plan right there.
Is this a scheme, though, that if you're a Ravens fan, you're going to say, man, next year, I know it's just one game, but have people figured out a way to not allow us to do what we did in that 7-game window?
That's the hard part is, you know, it's always one of those things where they figure out, but you always have options. In other words, there's always a counter to what someone's doing. You just hate it when you find it on Monday and not during the game.
Jackson, look at that cut. Look at the Ravens down the field, and it's caught by Dixon. Dixon roaming free in the secondary and down to the 10. And this is the point where you get uncomfortable if you're a Chargers fan.
You wanted to know when, Tony? It's right here.
Right here.
Look at this play. Jackson, with his best play of the game, off his back foot, throws it across, and James thought he was going to intercept it. And Dixon, rumbling, stumbling down there. Here we go.
Picked up 39 from the 11. And a flag.
False start, offense, number 79, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Left tackle, Ronnie Stanley just gets out early. If you're a Charger fan, right now you need to play physical and be aggressive. You've given up a little bit, but now you need to stand up. You need to end this game right here. You don't want this coming down where you have to go back out as an offense against this defense to go get first downs.
First and 15. Pass, almost jumping the route and making the pick. Michael Davis couldn't hold on.
Michael Davis could have ended the ball game.
Yep.
He ran the route. Oh, hits him right in the chest. He ran the route for John Brown. Simple slant route. They each have equal rights there, so there's no pass interference to go get that ball.
Second and 15 with 2:38. Loading up on that left side. And that's Montgomery shifting over to the right. That's Jackson to the end zone, and it's tipped away. Davis in on the coverage. Andrews, the Raven, in the end zone.
Back attacking Davis. Mark Andrews cuts inside. A little bit of a grab on the bottom there. Great job with his left hand.
Good job by Davis.
It really was, and I think it's a good no call. It's a close one, but he wasn't really running away from him.
Bosa had set out the last play. Get a little breather. He's back in. Watch out for him. 3rd and 15. Pass. Andrews up in the air and tackled at the 7.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So that was just a simple crossing route. I'm going to catch it, and then I'm going to jump over you. Look at how high he gets up.
But it's 4th down.
Here it is.
4th and 8.
Season on the line for Baltimore, no question.
Let's call it
Snap
clear.
it if you want to get a playoff before 2 minutes.
They do. Jackson rolling out. Got to make a throw. Crabtree has it. And they say he's inside the 1. They're able to stay alive. 4th down completion to Crabtree, who comes back for it. That could be reviewed. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, reminding you not to drink and ride your horse. And by T-Mobile. Whether you're home or away, T-Mobile has you covered. Well, Gene Steratore, it's been a busy second half for you, and the Ravens have challenged since this is the 2-minute warning, even at 1:57. They have to, it's not a booth review. It's an actual challenge because it certainly looks like Crabtree has the catch.
He does,
in the
Jim.
end zone.
And I've got him with both feet. Left foot there, possession, right foot down. And again, just any part of that ball breaking that goal line, it constitutes a touchdown. It's it's a tough play on the field because everything's coming back out. You know, you're feeling on the field in real time as, boy, he's outside of that. You know, these things make replay good.
So we're going touchdown. But what did he catch the ball then? Because there was 1:57 on the clock. Did he catch it before 2 minutes or after? Because I think that saves you a timeout theoretically if you can boot this out of the end zone.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you have an extra timeout. Did he catch it under 2 minutes, or was there on the clock? I didn't see exactly when that would be a touchdown, but you're putting time back on the clock then, right?
I think it's at about 1:59 here, Tony. Check it out.
So it'll be under 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so they don't get the extra.
Exactly. So the play takes us to the 2 minute warning, but when the snap occurs, we were outside of the 2 minute warning, and that's why it's still a coach challenge play.
After review of the play, the receiver completed the catch in the end zone. It is a touchdown. Baltimore will not be charged with a timeout. Please put 1:59 on the game clock. 1:59.
Crabtree's second touchdown of the quarter. And how about Lamar Jackson throwing for 156 yards in this fourth quarter with those 2 touchdown throws as well.
Now you got to give him credit. I mean, the back-to-back plays, I mean, they have a serious chance right now. The 2 timeouts now, I think you still come back and kick the onside, even though in the history of your kicker, you've never gotten one. But I still think you got to try and kick the onside after this extra point. You got 2 timeouts. You can only get it back.
Tucker makes it a 6-point game.
With about 1:10 to a minute, if everything goes your way, if you kick it deep.
Five minutes on the clock ago. This was a 23-3 game.
It was.
And then the Ravens suddenly start just going down the field. That was the one great scramble by Jackson in the throw that went down the field deep to Dixon for 39. But they scored 2 touchdowns in 4.5 minutes.
And a little bit of that is the Chargers not making sure they didn't give up a fast touchdown. So they're playing it back a little bit, but not too much. They just made sure you couldn't run right by them. Now, saying that, this is a big decision here. You kick it deep or not. I want the opportunity to get the ball. I'm kicking an onside to get an extra chance at it because it's going to be hard to score a touchdown either way. You're not going to have great field position either way, most likely. And I want the opportunity to get the ball. Whether you kick it onside or kick it deep, you're only getting it back with the same amount of time.
Jay Feely, you've been in this situation so many times.
Well, you normally go into the game with 3 onsides, but I watched Tucker. He didn't talk to his special teams coaches much. I think he's kicking the ball deep here, but I'm with Tony. I'd try an onside, try and get this ball back.
One Charger deep. It's Travis Benjamin who's actually standing at the 20. There's the kick. Benjamin will make the catch at about the 16. And slides down to the 21, avoiding the contact. 1:56. 2 timeouts for the Ravens.
They got to stop the run. The Chargers, you got to run the ball 3 times, or one of those is a wide receiver screen. On first or second down, I would throw a wide receiver screen. It's a fast play. It gets the ball on the edge. And you know they're going to come after you, and they're going to be in a position to shut the run down. It's a for sure completion. The clock won't stop. But otherwise, they're going to run this football 3 times if they don't get into a position like that. And I think the Ravens get this back with 1:10 to a minute.
They go with Gordon. And he's got about 3. And there's the timeout at 1:51. Did you ever imagine you would actually get down to the last 2 minutes?
And the Ravens might have the ball to win.
Actually have a compelling story.
Nope. That's why they play the game, and this is why you got to give credit where credit's due. This is now getting close. You can end this with 1 fullback to the flat. I think it's a screen to a wide receiver. It's always a safe one. Quarterback's throwing it right to him, and you can get the first down and end the game.
See what Ken Whisenhunt is thinking. 8 years a head coach in this league with Arizona and Tennessee. Offensive coordinator for the Chargers. They go with Gordon again, and now it'll be third down and about 7. Timeout, the last one for the Ravens. State Farm post-game show. Coming up after this one, JB ready to host. Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher all ready to offer their opinions on what has transpired in this game, especially in the late going. All coming up on the State Farm post-game show.
Huge decision here. Do you throw the football? If I put the ball in my quarterback's hands, you trust him with your season. I'm okay doing it. Philip Rivers is that kind of quarterback. But here's what you tell him. You take the sack unless he's wide open. Let the clock run. The 5-6 yards doesn't hurt us. The 40 seconds does.
In the old days, he used to go to Gates in this situation. He's lined up.
All-out pressure coming after him.
Gates in a slot on the left, just on a wing. They're going to run it with Gordon, and he's got an opening. The flag's down. There's going to be a penalty against the Chargers.
Holding. Offense. 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Hold on Russell Okung.
Well, two things here. Okung has the hold, but it's a perfect play call. Ken Whisenhunt, it's right here. What you do is when you put everyone up there, you run wide and you seal the edge. Oh, I don't see a ton. It's hard to see there. Whisenhunt and Rivers saw the flag. Anthony Lynn. Well, now you're definitely handing the ball off. If you're Baltimore, don't give up a lot of yards on the run. Play the run here, and you'll get much better field position.
Rivers wanting to call everyone over.
Well, and here's the hold.
See this one more time.
That's the hold. Yeah, that's a...
You know, it really wasn't even necessary because Gordon was already
outside,
way outside.
Completely outside.
Already had the edge.
I'm not entirely sure that was a good call there.
3rd and 16. Off of a spot foul.
I'm shocked if they throw this ball. This is amazing.
They're going up top. They get the completion short of the first. That's Gates. And they'll be able to run it down inside of a minute.
Boy, I'm shocked they threw that ball. They got away with it and they threw it.
Yep.
But what really do you gain there? If it's incomplete, it's just extra time.
It'll give them an extra 35, 40 seconds. Now, don't forget now, they've already had one deflected punt in this half. You got a dangerous return man in Cyrus Jones. Mike Went will snap it back to Donnie Jones. Timeout called by the Chargers. 54 seconds.
30-second timeout.
Well, this place just got tension-filled. Like you can't believe the energy in this place. You have a chance, Baltimore. You never thought with the ball. It's under a minute now. This is a tall task right here for a quarterback to score a touchdown. If you need a field goal, you can do it. A touchdown means you're going to have to create a big play early in this drive. One of the first 2 plays needs to get 15 or more yards.
Jay, real quick, what's the wind doing here for the punter?
Well, it's a cross, but I love the idea of bringing 10 up. It forces the Gunners to come in. Now Baltimore has the advantage because they can't get out and cover as well.
short kick. But a good hop. Jones gets it done. Wasn't the prettiest punt of all time, but it goes out of bounds at the 34 after the big hop.
You're thinking out of bounds.
41-yard punt.
And for the Chargers right now, you're trying to keep them in bounds. In bounds, they only have 3 plays. There's 3 plays left in this game if you keep them in bounds. If they can get out of bounds, that's why you call your out-of-bounds defense in certain situations. Not yet. Under 30 seconds, you'll start to see it. Right here, you just play defense.
On first down, rushing 4, middle of the field, Andrews. Clock running. Better get set. Andrews not set up right.
Oh, just snap it.
Lost maybe a couple of extra seconds trying to get everyone on the line.
Well, now you have 2 plays left if you're in bounds. Not counting any clock play. This is where you just start to think of your back. Just get 10 yards right over here. He'll catch it and move up the sideline.
Pressure on. The ball comes out. The ball comes out, and it's recovered by the Chargers. It was taken out of his hands. Uchenna Nwosu. And that will end it.
What a play by Nwosu. And the Chargers come up when they need it. And here it is. That's a fumble. That ball's out. And it only catches up with you when it catches up with you. And the fumbling issues this season, finally,
Nwosu
got the Ravens.
Knocks it out, and Ingram is there for the recovery to clinch it. The second-round pick out of USC makes the play. And there is Ingram with yet another thing to add to a magnificent stat line for him today. And Rivers knows they are heading on to New England.
Wow, I can't believe it came down to that. That was incredible comeback by Baltimore, but really far too long. This game, they needed everything to go their way. And Jackson, he brought him back. But it wasn't enough, and Rivers deserves credit for playing the way that he needed to win this football game in this environment. And you're right, he's going to New England with a good football team.
That'll be next Sunday at 1 o'clock at Gillette Stadium. Patriots hosting the Chargers. And the Ravens season, who knows what's going to happen. There's going to be so many different things in the offseason for this Baltimore franchise. Ozzie Newsome, this will mark the end of his magnificent career in the front office with the Ravens. You got Flacco, what will they do there? Suggs, his contract's up, but Flacco, of course, into a 3rd year of a long contract. Could be see movement there as you look at the playoffs now all set for the divisional round. The 2 road teams win in the American Football Conference this weekend.
Well, it shows you just any team in the playoffs right now, there's no like crazy dominant team in this AFC. New England's always been that way, but you know, obviously they aren't quite the same, but they still can come out of this, believe me. Any team can come out of this from the AFC that you're seeing right there.
And looking down the line, we can tell you now that the AFC Championship start time has been set. The AFC Championship presented by TurboTax Live. That will be the late game on Sunday, January 20th. Well, all the talk about the young quarterbacks, there's so much excitement, particularly in the AFC. But we'll have next week, we'll be there for that one. 37-year-old Phillip Rivers, 41-year-old Tom Brady, Chargers and Patriots in the divisional round.
Would it be any different? If you're going to the AFC title game, you got to go through the Patriots at some point, don't you? That one bracket every year. Tom Brady's going to show up. He'll be there.
Coming up next, the State Farm post-game show for Tony, Jay, Gene, and Tracy. Jim Nantz saying so long from Baltimore. We'll join James Brown in New York after this.